Welcome to the Taller Halfling Productions, where I, the Taller Halfling, am playing Dragonbane into the Deepfall Breach. First of all, I'll start with several announcements. In one of the previous episodes, I read this Calling Stones block of text, and since I am playing the adventures without reading them beforehand, in order to surprise myself, I didn't realize that these calling stones are actually a quest objective of the third quest, which will be started today. So I made Ingo give the calling stones to the adventurers, but it was too early, and now I have to amend this mistake somehow in the story. Second, I'll try to make my die rolls more clear, and I'll try to announce why I'm rolling somehow without breaking roleplay, if at all possible, which is not always possible, of course. Okay, let's start. Last time our brave adventurers Snappy, Veloron and Brine have infiltrated the fortress of the cultists and defeated Arioch, their leader, and have taken his medallion, which is the Worldbreaker shard. They escaped and returned successfully to the nameless chapel. In the chapel, together with Ogrid and Ingolfor, were also the three half-orcs who happened to be searching for Gorum, their friend, and Snappy told them that they can find Gorum saved in the chapel. Evening begins, and our adventurers talk at length with Ingolfor and the other company. They show them the Worldbreaker shard. Ingolfor says, This is a great find indeed. Very well, Snappy, Brine and Velorum. Now this shard can do no more harm. I'll keep it here in the chapel just to be safe. Snappy says, That's well. We need to rest, and tomorrow maybe we can go into the stronghold as well. Ogrid, we fought three of the cultists. One of them was Arioch himself. We fell him by surprise. They didn't do us any harm. However, one of them said that your son, Hjorvald, is still alive and kept captive in their stronghold. So what I suggest is that maybe after we rest tonight, tomorrow we venture forth into the stronghold again and save your son. Ogrid says, That is very well, Snappy. Unfortunately, my legs are still smashed. I'm bound to this bed here. I'm not quite sure if I will be able to walk again. Ingolfor says, Yes, Ogrid, your legs are very damaged. However, I think some magic can help you. Me, myself, I cannot do such a magic, but there are people around the world, magicians, wizards, or priests, who may be able to help you. So don't lose hope. Ogrid says, Well, Ingolfor, you may be right. However, I cannot save my son now. Snappy says, Maybe we can. Then Gorum and the three half-orcs appear in the room as well. Gorum says, Thank you for finding my friends and telling them that I am here. I think we can try and save Ogrid's son. Furthermore, we have to exact revenge on those cultists. So you say you fought Arioch. Is he dead? Snappy says, I'm not quite so sure. He may be dead or he may not. I struck him very hard. He was lying in a pool of blood. I will be surprised if he's still alive. Maybe if you hurry, you have more time to find Hjörvald's son. However, me and my companions have to rest. Ingolfur Stonges says. Well, these are good news indeed that you have found the shard and you struck Arioch in the heart of their stronghold. However, I also have some bad news. Do you remember the calling stones that I gave you several days ago? Snappy says. Yes, we haven't used our stone. Do you still keep yours? And Ingolfur says, well, turns out those were fake. I didn't know it. But now, when I look at the stone again, I can tell. Please try and take out yours, Snappy, and say the secret word. Snappy takes the stone, hits the ground with it 3 times and says, Starflower. Nothing happens. As I thought, says Ingolfur. So you must find the real stones. These were given to me long ago. The person who gave it to me assured me that they are real, but upon further investigation, I realized they are not. However, I know where the real stones are. The real stones are in the Wizard's Tower. The Wizard's Tower is again in one of the passages of the Vault of Many Paths. However, in order to find it, you have to look for a moon door, a magical moon illusionary wall marked with a crescent moon somewhere in the Vault of Many Paths. I am not quite sure where it is, but this was the account of the person who gave me the fake stones. Maybe he himself didn't know they were fake. I cannot tell you more about this, but however, for the success of our mission, I think it's best if you went there tomorrow after you rested and retrieve the real calling stones. Snappy says. Very well then. Gorum and his 3 friends will go try to rescue Ogrid's son Hjörvald, and we will try tomorrow to secure the real calling stones. With that, all of them have a dinner and take a good night's rest. All of them clear their conditions and all of hit points if they lost some. And also, I will roll to see if our adventurers gained some new experience. In the last episode, I don't think any of our 3 adventurers rode a dragon, so no natural experience was gained, but they will get additional advancement marks as per prescribed by the Dragonbane rules. Did you participate in the game session? Yes. Did you explore a new location? Yes. Did you defeat 1 or more dangerous adversaries? Yes. Did you overcome an obstacle without using force? I'll say no. And did you give in to your weakness? I don't think so. So they have 3 marks or 3 skills which they can advance in. Let me choose them for them. Let's start with Snappy. Snappy, first of all, he clears all his conditions. All of them clear their conditions, but Snappy has 2 more days of concussion, Bane or on intelligence rolls for 2 more days. Let's see. He'll advance in knives, he'll advance in stealth, in sneaking, and evade. Brine, with her hand axe, she'll try to advance in axes, she'll try to advance in healing, I'll say spot hidden. And Veloron, he fought with his hand axe, so I guess he'll try to advance in axes again, he'll try to advance in, let's say, evade and acrobatics. Alright, time to roll for some skill advancements. According to the rules, I have to roll over the skill in order for the character to improve in it by 1 point. So first is Snappy. Evade. 13 or more, 12. Sneaking, 13 or more, 12. And knives, 13 or more. Unfortunately, Snappy has no racing, no skill. Brine, healing, 12 or more, no race. Spot hidden, 12 or more. Oh, 16. Spot hidden becomes 12. And access, 13 or more. 16. She manages to advance in access. Now she has 13 skill in access, which is great. And Valoron has 13 acrobatics, so he has to roll 14 or more. No race. Evade, 13 or more. No race. And access, he needs 15 or more. 13. Unfortunately, Valoron doesn't raise his skills. Alright, time to continue. I think all of them use one of their foots, so they have 3 left. And they recover all of their hit points. And they are ready for the adventure on the next day to recover the original calling stones from the Mage's Tower. I've also updated the thread list of the mythic adventure lists with save Ogrids on Hjorvald and recover the calling stones. I also upgraded the character lists with Ogrids, with Gorm's 3 friends. I don't know their names yet. Okay, let's start the adventure. On the next day, on the next morning, day 7, 21st of June. The weather partially cloudy and cool, it's not very bad. Our adventurers take their way to the Vault of Many Paths, where they have to find an entrance to the Mage's Tower. Ingolfer told them that the entrance to the Mage's Tower is not in one of the tunnels, but it is actually somewhere on the vault, mysteriously hidden. They should look for a hidden magical entrance marked with an illusory wall marked with a crescent moon. So our 3 adventurers go into the Deepfall Breach, into the Vault of Many Paths. Also, I have to update the chaos factor. I'll say from 5 it is lowered to 4 because last adventure was very successful. They left with the Worldbreaker shard and they didn't lose anyone. The next scene is looking for the door to the Mage's Tower entrance. I'll roll if this is an outer scene or an interrupt or whatever. Chaos factor 4. A 1. An outer scene. 62. Move. 72. Move plot. Oh. I also have to roll on the scene adjustment table. Reduce, remove an activity. Move plot. I'm interpreting reduce an activity, move plot as the fact that the company manages to find the wall quite quickly. Snappy, looking carefully on the walls of the Vault of Many Paths, sees a faintly glowing sign of a crescent moon. This must be it. Brine comes closer with her torch, touches it, and indeed, where there seems to be a stone wall, her hand just passes through the wall and into nothingness. So she says, "Yes, Snappy, you're right. I think this is the secret entrance to the Mage's Tower." So they enter it. As the companions move through the moon door. They enter a corridor, and after a few minutes they find something like that looks like a petrified arboretum. Old trees once were living here, but now they are like stone columns all about them. They are so dense that they barely find a path. 7. Nothing happens. The company hears some voices. Come to us. As if the petrified trees are talking to them, or some ghosts among these trees. Snappy says, remember what Ingolfer told us. Do not heed the voices. Do not go to the whispers who are calling us. These were dryads. The dryads who once dwelt within have long since become something else. Let's just go and find the path as quick as possible. After several minutes of searching through the petrified trees, the company finds the exit of the arboretum. Another stretch of time has passed. Brina's torch is okay. What do they find after the arboretum? A natural cave. 2 times 4. A danger and environment. A danger. Flooded space and environment. Glassy surfaces. After the arboretum, the exit leads the company into some natural looking cave which seems flooded, and glassy surfaces glisten in the light from the Brina's torch. Those surfaces seem to come just out of the water. Our adventurers have to pass over the surfaces in order to not drown. Since they are glassy surfaces, I will decide that all of them have to make acrobatics roll with a bane because they are very slippery. First of all of them make sure that their backs are very well contained, and so that if they fall, the torches won't get wet even if they fall in the water. Snappy is first, so very carefully he tries to pass over. 13 fails. He has 12 of acrobatics. Unfortunately, Snappy slips on one of the platforms and falls into the water. In the Dragonbane rules, it says that all characters can swim, and if they make some diving or more complex maneuvers, they have to make swimming rolls, or they have to make swimming rolls every stretch of time to stay afloat. So I'll say that Snappy can swim 5 squares on the grid without making a swimming roll, which is half his movement. So they see the exit on the other side, beyond the lake of the flooded cave, and Snappy tries to swim there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he sees another of the platforms and tries to climb on it, making an acrobatics. 12. Yes, Snappy manages by swimming to reach the exit. Now it's Brine's turn. She gives her torch to Velorum. Velorum, keep this for a moment. So Velorum keeps the torch now, and Brine makes her acrobatics roll with disadvantage. Unfortunately, she also fails into the water and swims to the last platform, where she tries to climb. And her acrobatics roll is successful. She manages to climb on the last platform and jump to the exit where Snappy is. Velorum is now the last standing with the torch. He jumps on the first slippery, glassy surface. Having 13 acrobatics, he has the greatest chance to succeed. Unfortunately, he also falls and the torch is extinguished. Oh, Velorum cries. Oh, snap. Then he swims in the darkness. It is too dark. Brine, please, light the torch. Brine lights the last spare torch he has. And as they wait for Velorum on the exit, he swims his way. Does something else happen while he swims? I'll say unlikely. The chaos factor is 4. No, nothing else happened. And so Velorum manages to swim to the last surface and makes another acrobatics check to climb on it. A demon, which cannot be rerolled. As Velorum tries to climb on the surface of the exit, something unexpected happens. 59. Leave building. Very interesting. Leave building. First of all, I'll mark that another stretch of time has passed. For more context, I'll roll on the event focus table. 14. Adventure future. Leave building. Well, this can only mean one thing. Does Velorum fall in a trap? Is this surface a trap and a hole opening before his feet when he tries to climb? I'll say 50-50. 83, no. As Velorum fails to climb on the last surface, he falls into the water and notices a tunnel below. Deep into the cave, a very faint glow of light at the bottom of the lake, and he sees something like a glowing tunnel beneath the water. He tries to reach it, making a swimming roll, and succeeds with a dragon. As Velorum reaches the glowing light at the bottom of the lake, he sees that it is an ancient tunnel below the water, an underwater passage. He swims back, this time successfully climbs the exit platform and tells Snappy and Brine, "At the bottom of the lake, I saw an underwater passage. Maybe it leads out of these tunnels to an unknown place. However, a very faint, magical bluish glow is illuminating this underwater passage." Snappy says, "This is quite interesting. Well, maybe if we have time, maybe we can research where this underwater passage leads. However, currently we have one goal: to find the calling stones and to exit this accursed mage's tower." Velorum agrees to this. "Yes, Snappy. Let's continue our way." After the natural cavern, they enter something like a breach over a deep chasm surrounded by high walls, high natural walls. Snappy says, "Beware! These are the so-called peering walls that Ingolfur Stonegaze told us about. Do not gaze into the depths below. Just pass as quickly as possible." Brine says, "Yes, be careful. Do not look below. Do not look into the abyss, lest the abyss looks into you." All of them have to roll a will check in order to not watch in the eyes. Velorum doesn't make the will check. Velorum will push his roll. His will is 8. Velorum tries very hard not to look into the eyes below, in the black abyss. However, as he does, Snappy and Brine see him, how he suddenly stops, staring right into the abyss. "No, Velorum, no!" So Velorum stares into the abyss, contrary to all advices of Ingolfur Stonegaze. I'll say I'll roll on the actions table again to see what happens to Velorum. 88. Support. 89. Support technology. As in a stupor or a trance, Valorum drops his hand axe on the floor and starts walking to the abyss. What are you doing? Snappy and Brine try to hold him. I'll say, in order to hold him on the ground, Snappy and Brine have to make a brawling test against Valorum. Since there are two of them, at least one of them has to succeed. Brine has 6 brawling and doesn't succeed pushing her roll. Oh, by the way, Valorum also pushed his roll. He gets angry. Brine pushing her roll, holding on Valorum's leather armor, trying to topple him on the ground. She gets angry. Valorum, stop! Stop right now! What are you doing? And she didn't succeed. It's Snappy's turn to try and hold Valorum from throwing himself into the chasm. 17. Snappy, disheartened and desperately pushes his roll. And he succeeds. So Snappy, in the last meters before Valorum jumps over the cliff, Snappy jumps over his shoulders and manages to topple him on the ground. Both he and Brine start slapping his face, and Brine takes out her water skin and pours it over Valorum's face. Valorum says, What? What is wrong? What are you doing? And Snappy says, You fool! Ingolfur told you not to gaze into the eyes of the abyss. Why did you do that? And Valorum says, I couldn't. I just could not do it. I just could not withhold my gaze from them. They were alluring me with strange, ghostly voices. Thank you for saving me. Let's quickly go and escape this cursed abyss. So, Valorum takes his axe and all of them continue to the next location. They continue their way without looking anymore to the fiendish eyes in the abyss. 14. Another natural cave. Just one detail. Environment. A stagnant pool. After the breach with the ice, the company reaches another opening, another natural opening, and a stench. They feel a stench as of fetid waters. Pool seems with very fetid water. This time they don't see. Do they see some platforms to walk on? I'll say 50-50. 59. No, they don't see any platforms this time, so they have to swim in the fetid water. The exit is just on the other side. I'll say their movement halved is the amount of squares that all of our heroes can pass without making a swimming test. So Snappy can make 5 squares without making the swimming test. So he has to make one test. Valorum has movement of 12, so he can make 6 squares without make any swimming test. So he reaches the exit without a swimming test, and Brine also has to make a single swimming roll. Okay, says Valorum. I think I can swim this very quickly. Are you sure you can, Brine? Snappy. And Brine and Snappy say, yes, I think we can. Alright, Brine, I'll try to swim and hold the torch over the water. So Valorum will have to make a single swimming test as well, so that his torch doesn't get extinguished. So first of them goes Valorum with the torch, making a swimming test. His swimming is 6. And he doesn't succeed. Oh no, the torch is lost. So Valorum manages to reach the platform on the other side, where the exit of this stagnant pool is, but unfortunately his torch is extinguished. So he lights another one, showing Brine and Snappy where they should swim to. Next is Brine, swimming a 5. She manages to swim without a problem. And then is Snappy with a swimming of 6. So Snappy, swimming in the stagnant pool, in the middle of it, he starts drowning. He cannot keep himself afloat. And Valorum sees this. No, Snappy, Brine, quick, give me a rope. Brine gives Valorum her rope. Snappy, can you take the rope? Snappy says, yes, please throw it. So Velorum throws the rope, and he needs, I'll say, he will use his hunting and fishing skill to successfully throw the rope so that it's as close as possible to Snappy, and so he can get it. 18. Velorum pushes his row, disheartened. No, Snappy! And throws the rope again. And yes, 11 under 12, he succeeds. Take the rope, Snappy! Take the rope! So Snappy manages to take the rope, and Velorum brings him back safely on the exit. All of them are now on the other side of the stagnant pool. Well, that was insane. Barely drowning, Snappy, coughing, comes out of the water. Thank you, Brina and Velorum, for saving me my life. I was almost drowning in this stagnant water. Another stretch of time passes. They already lost 2 torches. On the other side of the stagnant pool, they find a big room or a hole, 50 by 50 feet. In the center of it, a giant mechanism is rotating with whirring and grinding noises. It consists of many gears, some rusted, some not, rotating with a maddening speed. It seems that this is the maddening orrery that Ingolfer told them about. Once the mage used this confounding device to chart the flux of the heavens. Now its mechanical whirring and grinding gears represent nothing more than an obstacle. Snappy says, "It's very dangerous here. In order to pass on the other side, we have either to disable those gears and the moving parts, or we risk being smashed by them." Snappy continues, "Let me see if there is a way to disable this mechanism, so that we can avoid any danger and damage." Awareness roll. Successfully, Snappy sees that there is actually a way to disable the old orrery. And the way to disable the orrery, let's see on action. 2. A company battle. Snappy says, "I see no other way except to put some metal object into those gears so that they stop whirring. Velorum, I see you use your axe, but you also have a great sword, a broadsword. Would you spare it so that we can put it into those gears and pass safely?" Velorum says, "Well, Snappy, if this must be, I'll give my sword. I don't use it currently, and also I have a one-handed spare as well. So yes, take my broadsword." And so Velorum gives his broadsword to Snappy so that he can disable the whirring orrery. Snappy takes the broadsword, goes to the mechanism, and tries to find the best spot to put it into the gears of the maddening orrery, using his sleight of hand skill. And successfully, Snappy finds the best spot, puts the sword between the gears, and with a creaking sound, the movement of the planets of the orrery stops. The company now can proceed without risking to take any damage. They go to the other end of the hole, where they see a spiraling stair ascending above. This must be the endless stair that Ingolfer told us about. It ascends to the top of the mage's tower. Snappy says, "If we are not aware, we will be trapped in an infinite climb. We must be very careful and avoid the still shambling remains of the less fortunate adventurers." Velorum says, "Okay, Snappy, but first I suggest that we search this room with the orrery." Snappy says, "You have right." So they search for free. I'll say for a stretch of time they can search 2 times for scavenging. So another stretch of time passes, and they search for valuables in the room with the orrery. 10. A treasured card, and roll again. 8. A treasure card, second one, and then the second scavenge. A 10. Another treasure card, 3 treasure cards, very lucky. And nothing of note. So the company finds 3 treasures in the room of the now deactivated maddening orrery. I also totally forgot that this adventure has a counter, and it started at 1, and with every stretch of time it should move by 1. So currently 5 stretches of time has passed, and so after the adventurers pick their treasure, the trigger event will happen. So what is the treasure? First treasure, D6 copper coins. Second treasure, 46 gold coins. This is a little bit better. Third treasure, Veda 6 times 10 copper coins. So Snappy says, look there, I see the glinting of some copper coins beneath one of the planets of the orrery. There are some 46 gold coins, 10, 15, 18 gold coins, which Snappy takes. There are D6 copper and 5 and 5 plus 45 copper coins and 18 gold coins is what they find under the planetarium celestial bodies, which is better than nothing. At that moment, from the exit, a wild cry is heard. They hear from the stairs at the end of the chamber hooking noises like bashing and smashing all around, and a deep voice roaring. Brine says, first, if she knows that this is the troll, let's roll her myths and legends. A dragon. Brine says, shoot, this is the cave troll that Ingolfer told me about last night. This cave troll was a friend of the magician who lived here in this tower. Quick, hide! I know that he loves coins. Snappy, if you have some of those gold coins, throw them and hide somewhere. Snappy quickly pulls out some of his coins and throws them in the direction of the sounds of the troll. Snappy throws 4 gold coins near the exit where the sound of the troll is coming, and then tries to hide. Velorum and Brine also try to hide. Let's say Velorum tries to hide on the other way, and Snappy and Brine hide here. Whoa! Boom, boom. Troll, seeing the 4 gold coins, right away lowers himself, and he loves gold. Picks up for the first coin. The troll picks all of the coins, in which time, let's say if they succeed first with the stealth roll. Brine, sneaking, only 5, doesn't succeed. Snappy, 12. Snappy succeeds. And Velorum, sneaking of 6. Oh, Velorum also succeeds. Initiative starts. Velorum, who has hidden himself, tries to jump on the troll. In order to get a sneak attack, he needs another success for sneaking. Oh, and successfully it doesn't. So the troll cannot evade this, and Velorum gets a boon on the attack. While the troll is collecting his gold coins, Velorum strikes him from behind, successfully, dealing 2d6 plus d4. Dealing 6 points of damage to the troll. -2 is 4. Troll takes 4 points of damage. And as Velorum embeds his handaxe in the back of the troll. Also, the troll has actually ferocity too, so he will act twice per round. His other action die is 4. The troll has also regeneration, which is very bad. He heals d6 per combat turn, unless he reaches 0. Cave trolls are nasty. Velorum manages to successfully embed his axe and cut part of the flesh from the troll's back. The troll cries, turns around against Valorum and does one of his 6 actions. 6, oh no. Throw. The throw lifts Valorum over its head and tosses him like a rack of dough, 2d8 meters in a random direction, inflicting an equal amount of bludgeoning damage. The victim lands prone. Good that Valorum has leather armor which has +2 against bludgeoning. So, the throw lifts Valorum in the air and throws him 5 meters, bashing him in the wall. Valorum falls and takes 5 points of damage minus. Actually, he doesn't take any damage because his leather armor protects him for 2 and he has 3, so he has 5 armor against bludgeoning damage. An ill fortune has happened and the battery of my phone went to 0. So my last video, which was 20 minutes of battle, was erased from my phone. I will just summarize what happened. Our heroes started fighting the cave troll. First, all of them managed to use sneak attack stealthily. Well, almost all of them. Valorum managed to attack the troll initially, but then the troll took him and threw him, fortunately dealing almost no damage because Valorum had a leather armor. Snappy managed to do sneak attack on the troll, dealing quite a lot of damage, and then Brine managed to attack the troll with a heavy strike. I think it was a critical hit. So the troll was at 1 hit point. Unfortunately, the cave troll has ferocity too, which means that he can move twice and take 2 actions per combat round. So the first thing the troll did was cry, shrieking of pain because of the weapons of our heroes, who led him at 1 hit point. But those shrieks introduced a swarm of vampiric bats out of the dark ceiling high above. Those bats swarmed the head of Valorum. They were staying for 2 rounds there. They swarmed the head of Valorum, bringing him almost to madness. His face went pale. All of our heroes did fear checks and all of them failed. Unfortunately, Snappy, in a bout of panic, escaped the hole somewhere in the corridor behind. Valorum and Brine continued to strike. Brine managed to succeed again, hitting him, and the troll took Brine in his right hand and threw her with great force against the far wall of the hole. Unfortunately, Brine was smashed from the force of this troll and fell to the ground, dying on the spot, because the damage was equal to her maximum hit points, which meant that Brine died right there, right away. Valorum, seeing this, no, attacked the troll again, unsuccessfully. The next round, the bats attacked again Valorum and flew away back into the darkness. So Valorum was reduced to 7 hit points of damage. Seeing that there is no chance, and seeing that Brine lies dead on the ground, and that Snappy escaped in a bout of madness and panic, Valorum threw a gold coin in the hope that the troll will not chase him. Distracted by the gold coin, the troll didn't pursue Valorum, and Valorum managed to escape to Snappy, who just in that time managed to control himself. His fit of panic was over. However, Valorum told him, "Snappy, I have grave news. I barely escaped the troll. Where were you?" And Snappy said, "I don't know. I went out of control. I'm sorry. I panicked. I'm sorry, Valorum." And Valorum says, "Well, Snappy, I have grave news to tell you. First, I am very injured. And second, our friend Brine was thrown by the troll on the opposite wall, and she died on the spot. I saw it with my bare eyes. Her head exploded against the wall, unfortunately. She lies there in a pool of blood and the troll regenerates quickly. I don't think we can fight him together with you. Snappy says, "No, Brine! No!" And with that, Snappy starts recklessly running towards the troll. Valorum tries to stop him. "Wait, I'm exhausted. I cannot continue this fight. I think we'll die." Valorum didn't succeed in stopping Snappy, who attacks right away the troll. Another round of combat begins. With that, currently, Snappy has 6 hit points and Valorum has 7. And the troll, at one point he had 1 hit point, then he recovered 11, and now another round of combat ensues. And he will again regenerate some d6 die of hit points. The troll regenerates 5 hit points and is currently at 17 hit points. The troll says, crying, seeing Snappy running to stab him recklessly. The troll has 2 actions because he has ferocity too. The first action of the troll, seeing Snappy running towards him. A 3, which is head to head. The troll headbutts Snappy. The victim becomes dazed and suffers 2d6 bludgeoning damage. Only a helmet can reduce the damage taken. Seeing Snappy running towards him, the troll also starts running and headbutts Snappy. Snappy will try, of course, to evade this because he won't survive it. He has hard to catch, so he will use hard to catch a boon on evade for 3 willpower. His evade is 12. And he barely succeeds. Snappy succeeds barely to evade the head attack of the troll. However, the troll has 1 more action. A 6. Troll. The troll lifts an enemy over its head and tosses the victim like a ragdoll 2d8 meters in a random direction. Unfortunately, this is the attack that killed Brine right away. Instant death. Let's see. 2d8, 7 points of damage. 14 points of damage. In which direction? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, 7 meters. Each square is about 2 meters. Snappy lands over the steps there. And takes 7 damage, but since Snappy has leather armor, which gives him +2 against bludgeoning damage, and a helmet, so he has 4 protection. So he takes 3 points of damage, which leaves him at 3 hit points currently. Valorum, seeing all this, and the mad cry of Snappy, the mad desperate cry of Snappy, Valorum runs and tries to attack with his axe the troll while he is distracted. Valorum has all of his conditions checked. He is exhausted and rather sickly, and dazed because of the troll, and angry and scared and disheartened. Which means that from now on he'll make all of his rolls with at least 1 disadvantage or bane. He can not push anymore. Trying to hit the troll. 15 with his hand axe of 14. Unfortunately, he didn't succeed. At that time, a new round of combat begins. The troll is first, seeing Valorum. Golden spit. The cave troll clears its throat and spits a gold coin hard at an opponent within 6 meters. The attack inflicts D10 bludgeoning damage and the victim suffers a condition and becomes 1 coin richer. Since all of Valorum's conditions are already checked, he must lose D6 willpower until he has willpower. So Valorum loses 5 willpower for 6 damage of bludgeoning. However, he has leather armor, so he suffers only 1 damage because he has total of 3 plus 2 because the leather armor provides 2 points damage against bludgeoning, so he suffers 1 damage, and so Valorum is at 6 hit points currently as a gold coin gets embedded into his leather armor. Snappy, who is prone, getting up in this game is a free action, so Snappy stands up and uses his special ability Backstab, which allows him to sneak attack an enemy within 2 meters of another enemy. The throw is within 2 meters of Valorum, which allows Snappy to backstab him, allowing to roll with boon, and the throw cannot dodge or evade or parry, and the damage will have 1 hit die more. And 15, unfortunately, Snappy has 12 in daggers, so he'll push his roll, and he gets sickly because he tries to backstab the throw right behind his butt. Tries again to backstab him. Come on, Snappy, come on. Oh no, a fail. Snappy fails this. This was Snappy's turn. Unfortunately, he misses his backstab. The troll turns around. What is this? He says in trollish language. He does a rolling attack. The cave troll curls up into a large boulder-like mass and throws towards an enemy. The attack inflicts 2d8 bludgeoning damage and the victim is knocked down. So the troll looks down at Snappy and throws over him, trying to roll over Snappy and stomp him, which, by the way, gives Valorum a free attack if the troll doesn't make a successful evade roll. Since the troll doesn't have an evade skill, his default skill is 5. And he doesn't make successful evade roll, so Valorum can make a free attack against the troll. Unfortunately, he gets a demon, so this means that Valorum, trying to hit the rolling troll, rolls a 4. You accidentally toss your weapon d3 plus 3 meters. To pick it up you must move and then perform an action. So, Valorum drops his axe 4 meters. So he hits the troll, but the thick skin of the troll throws the axe like here. So currently his axe is here. The troll rolls over Snappy, dealing 1. Come on. 5 points of damage, but Snappy is just prone and takes only 1 because his leather. He has 2 armor and the leather armor, which gives him +2, so it's a 4 defense against bludgeoning damage. The leather armor saves Snappy, and he takes only 1 damage and is now at 2 hit points left. Valorum now tries to attack again with Bane. His axe is now not in him. Valorum draws quickly his short spear from behind his back and tries to stab the troll. In the last round, the troll regenerates 4 more hit points and tried to smash Snappy unsuccessfully. Snappy tried to backstab the troll unsuccessfully and pushed his roll, becoming dazed of anger, and successfully hits the troll for 2d8 plus d4. (11) 13 damage to the troll, which means that he is at 8 hit points now. Not enough. Valorum, because he is adaptive, he will keep his great initiative from the last round, which I think went again not in the camera, because I think I forgot to click on unpause. He had an initiative of 5. So for 3 willpowers he will keep his initiative. We will try with disadvantage to attack the troll in the back. And he succeeds with the short spear because he dropped his axe. With the short spear he succeeds to do d10 plus d4 damage to the throw. Come on. Come on, d10. It is possible to kill the throw. He has only 8 points left. Wait, I can choose first before seeing the result. I'll choose that the throw will use one of his actions to evade this. He has to roll 5 or below in order to evade this hit. 13, unsuccessfully. So the throw cannot escape the short spear by Valorum, which is 7 hit points, and the throw only 5 points of damage instead of 7, because the throw has 2 points of armor. Still, the throw is very angry. Turns back. The throw attacks with 3 hit points left, with golden spit. Odd if it's Valorum, even is Snappy. Even. So he spits a coin against Snappy for d10 bludgeoning damage. Nine bludgeoning damage minus 4 is 5. So Snappy is on the ground with 0 hit points and a coin more embedded into his armor. Another round of combat with only Valorum and the throw, and this will be probably the last. Valorum keeps his initiative, so he is first. Valorum will try to stop the throw. Seeing his second comrade fallen, Snappy, he will try to stop the cave throw with the spear. The cave throw is only 3 hit points left. He will regenerate on his turn. I just hope this succeeds, because otherwise it is total party kill. And he succeeds! Valorum succeeds with his attack with a Bane. He rolls a 10 and his spear is 12. So now he will roll for damage. Let's hope he rolls more than 5, because this will mean that he will embed his short spear into the throw's heart. More than 5 together. 10, 11, minus 2 is 9, and the throw is down. Valorum, in a heroic feat, a desperate feat, manages to pierce the throw's heart with his spear. And the throw is down at 0 hit points. He doesn't regenerate when he hits 0. Valorum quickly goes to Snappy. It's first Snappy's turn, so he will have to make a death save. His constitution or below, which is 6. He fails his first death save roll. Valorum will go quickly to Snappy and try to apply some healing. What happens? I don't know, my phone started disconnecting randomly. So, in his last feat, Valorum managed to fail the throw, embedding the short spear in his heart. Then, Snappy failed his first death save. Valorum uses a round to go and search Brine for a bandage, and he does so and tries to heal Snappy. Unfortunately, all of his conditions are checked, so he still will have a single Bane on the roll, and his healing is just 4. So he'll try to heal Snappy. Unfortunately, without success. Snappy will have 2 more death rolls. Valorum trying to talk to him. Snappy, please don't leave me. Don't leave me as well. Snappy rolls and two failures. Snappy lies down dead. Valorum, in desperation, sits beside him and looks at Brine and the blood around their bodies. Valorum lost two of his friends today. And with that, we'll finish the current session in a most tragic and catastrophic way. See you next time, maybe.